To no one's surprise, President Trump continues again using nativist rhetoric to demonize all immigrants to scare the public. Now the House and the Senate have passed a bill to turn those words into devastating action. So my first question for Mr. Beer is this. Mr. Beer, on January 7th, you tweeted that the Laken-Riley Act pretends to be about stopping illegal immigrants who commit crimes. In fact, it's a Trojan horse designed to destroy legal migration. End of quote. As you know, the Laken-Riley Act permits the attorneys general to sue DHS for perceived failures in immigration enforcement. So I'd appreciate you spelling it out here. What are the dangers of that section in the Laken-Riley Act, and specifically, how can it be weaponized by state officials to dismantle legal immigration?
Look, people who commit crimes are already priorities for removal. They were priorities for removal under the Biden administration. They're priorities for removal right now. So there's no difference there. What is different about this act is the empowerment of states' attorneys generals to go to courts and force the Secretary of State to stop issuing visas to countries that delay deportations to their countries. So India, China, the largest origin countries, Cuba, Venezuela, these are all countries that are on the list. We would have to stop admitting Afghan allies from Afghanistan, of course. So it basically takes the authority away from the Secretary of State. Secretary of State future Rubio, in this case, would not have the ability to make that determination. It would be turned over to the courts and result in a huge slash in legal immigration and really no change in interior enforcement.
So it really provides unprecedented powers to attorneys general in the states over a federal matter. Let's switch gears to the Alien Enemies Act. This is an executive order recently invoked by the president. It was enacted in 1789, was designed to address threats during times of declared war, but it's been criticized since it was implemented in the 18th century, and it continues to be invoked to strip the rights from entire groups based on their national origin. For example, to justify the detainment of Japanese Americans, Italian, German Americans during World War II, or more recently, Trump's Muslim ban. President Trump signed an executive order to use the Alien Enemies Act to do mass deportations without due process, raising significant constitutional questions. How does this align with the Fifth Amendment, which guarantees due process to all individuals within the United States, Mr. Beer?
Yeah, so if he invokes the Alien Enemies Act, it would give him power to use the military to detain, arrest, and remove people without proving that they're in the country illegally or are removable from the United States. That's an incredibly dangerous power that threatens the rights of all Americans. It also could apply even to legal permanent residents and other non-citizens who could be removed. Again, we're not subject to an invasion by a foreign government as required by the act, so I don't know where he's going to be able to justify the use of this authority that was designed for cases of war.
Thank you. And in 1 minute, I want you to comment on another debate going on regarding the 14th Amendment. Some argue that the framers did not consider illegal immigrants when drafting the citizenship clause. Could you elaborate on your perspective regarding the 14th Amendment?
Well, if they didn't think about illegal immigrants, then they couldn't possibly have written an exception to them, to the general rule that anyone born in the United States is a U.S. citizen. Obviously, if they weren't thinking about illegal immigrants, they couldn't have written that exception into the law. And obviously, it doesn't apply in this case, because if illegal immigrants are not subject to the laws of the United States, then they're not illegal immigrants. So it's a circular argument that makes no sense, and I assume will be laughed out of the courts.
And thus, the absurdity of attempting to deny birthright to those born in this country.
completely absurd. And it's not even just illegal immigrants we're talking about, their children, also the children of legal residents who've been invited here by our government under visa categories, guest workers, international students, even the former Vice President, Kamala Harris, would be potentially affected by this illegal and unconstitutional
The gentleman's time
order.
has expired.